guys, Holidays with you here, bringing you Black Clover anime review. This was episode 78, titled Peasant's Trap. This was a very entertaining episode, very unique. It begins with the Magic Emperor, and his royal guards, and I'm not royal guards, but I would say his squadron. They switched the battlefield with some magic, and they made it into a whole bright new area. And while this is going on, you have Zerx in the background looking kind of upset, and Asta catches on, and everyone is amazed. You have Chermi, who's unconscious thanks to flirting with her. In her mind, she sees it as flirting, but it's just being honest, because she gave him some food to eat to replenish, since that is her magic ability, and he eats it, and he said, this is good. And then you see her heart with an arrow in it, and he says, thank you, and then she gets another arrow, and then he says something else, something I think along the lines of, I enjoy it, it was great, and she gets the third and final arrow, and she just fall back and fall unconscious, and you see a ghost fairy come out of her mouth, and the fairy's like really jealous and upset, so she's trying to sprinkle dust in her nose to get it clogged up so she can choke, but it just doesn't happen. You have Asa there trying to help Chermi up. Then you have this other cute moment where Chermi lands back on the Wizard King's lap, and she starts feeding him and stuff, and I'm like, it's so weird because he treats her like a little daughter or sister, and it's so weird. It's like the Black Bull's got like the closest relationship to the Wizard King so far. But we get the next match, and we see Noelle's brother, the one that she beat last week solid. He's still salty about getting beat, and he's getting healed, and he's like, this can't be. And you got the Pyromantis dude. He pats Noelle on the head, and he was like, you did a good job. And they've reassured that thing that big brothers and sisters are meant to protect the younger ones. And Noelle, she kind of blushes, and she just paps, and she's like, I'm royalty. I'm not a nobody. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And he walks away laughing at her. But she was happy that someone acknowledged her. Someone as high as him. Because I'm not mistaken, that Pyromantis guy, he's from the Pyromantis, and I believe he's like the lieutenant or third seat. So he's pretty high. The guy with the mushroom magic and the glasses. But after all this, we get the second quarter, and it begins with Team B versus C. Team B is Asa's team, and Team C is Mimosa's brother's team. And uniqueness happened because we have this very unique panel where like Mimosa's brother does that cherry blossom illusion thing again. And everybody's looking at it like, oh, it's so pretty and beautiful. And Asa just looks at it and he laughs, and he was like, I guess I have no choice. And he takes out his sword and he does this with it, and he starts to like meditate, and we see like his black energy comes out, and he was like, I have to go deeper and stronger than this. And I'm like, deeper and stronger? What is he trying to pull? And I'm like, this is weird. And basically he lights up with all this energy, crimson energy, and we see like a little fang in his eyes. And Mimosa and Zerx are looking at him like, what's going on? And he ends up doing this thing called Black Hurricane, where all he's doing is just spinning around in the air everywhere. But what he's doing is, he's cutting up all the illusions in the cherry blossoms. He even destroys all the traps that Zerx set up the night before, because Zerx was setting up traps every night before on the battlefield, which Asta got mad at him and said that's cheating. But he came back with a good defense against Asta, saying it's not cheating because it's not against the rules and I haven't got caught yet. So, which it makes sense, really. But he gets mad at Asta for doing what he did, and Mimosa's brother is like really, really shocked and upset as well that his beautiful magic and illusions got shattered easily by Asta. So, yeah, Asta definitely better in magic than him. Even though Asta is not really magic, it's more anti-magic, which is more related to Kai, but you know what I mean. But Asta brings up to Zerx something very unique, saying, we need to work together as a team. I know you don't like the rules or whatever, but I want to win this as a team, because us knights, as powerful as we are, we can't do nothing alone. And while Asta's giving him this speech, Zerx starts to meditate on his dad, and we learn that his name is not Zerx. His name is actually Zora. And we actually see Zora as a kid, without him being, bulky and tall with the mask. And we see this red-headed kid getting talked to by his dad, who's a magic knight, and he has red hair as well. We actually see this guy in the opening, if you remember him. And he's telling his son the same thing. How I love the Magic Knights and the Magic Knights are powerful and all, but none of us could do anything by ourselves. That's why we work in teams. So he's remembering his dad, and he finally agrees to join up with Asta. But he says it in a negative way, not to be, too nice. And he tells him, yeah, sure, I tag team with you, but I'm just going to use you. You know that, right? And he's like, doesn't matter as long as we're working together to win. And we win together, that's all that matters. And Asta laughs it off, and he's like, whatever. And you have Mimosa in the back smiling, happy that they finally getting along a little bit better. You even have Gordon from the Black Bulls saying, it's good that friends fight. That's how they get to know each other more. Hopefully Asta will fight with me more in the future and stuff like that. And everyone is very impressed with Asta Black energy, especially the Wizard King and the Wizard and the regular King of the Nation. They were like very shocked and impressed. And the King said himself, I wish and Asta will hurry up and lose already. I'm tired of these peasants here. But most likely it's gonna be either Asta or Yuna's team who's gonna win this tournament, most likely. But that's just my guess so far, because I don't see no one really beating them. But you do have Langris's brother himself, and he's pretty powerful, so who knows? I see one of those three teams winning. Asta's team, Yuno's team, or Langris. Those are like the top three strongest teams. So one of those three are going to win. And two of those teams are peasants, so that's going to really tick off the King when he finds out who's ever going to win between those. But, again, this was a great episode. Also, I forgot to mention, we have Asta versus, as you see in the thumbnail, Noel's brother. They kind of actually tricked him a little bit. Basically what they did was they put a whole bunch of like traps in a cave, and Asta was like trying to like plot him to come and get him, and he was like, I see all your magic traps, and he sent out clones to touch him and exploit them. And then he got closer to Asta to attack him. But what he didn't realize was that they actually had another trap, a pitfall trap. But this pitfall trap was actually handmade, so he couldn't sense it, and he actually fell in. And Asta just jumped in and one-shotted him. And as you see in the thumbnail, he just knocked out cold. After all that talk he was, saying and stuff, he got beat easily. He got one-shotted at that. That's 7 words by a peasant. So, him and Noel's brother Saleh are going to be very salty after this whole tournament is done and said with. But it was real good. We also learned all the magic types, trap spells of Zerx. He has Pitfall, Landmine traps, and Binding traps. Those are the 3 type of traps he has so far unlocked in his Grimoire. And the magic attribute of his is Ash. So, very interesting character and backstory. We need to get more on him, especially now that we know his real name is Zora and not Zerx. Which we already knew that he was just faking that name and title. He started from the guy that he beat up, so. But hopefully Asta's team don't get disqualified because of his actions. I can actually see that going on. I can see Asta's teams winning this tournament, but then they found out that Zerx is really Zora, and that he was faking, and then they get disqualified for that, and whoever second place will actually win. So I can actually see them doing something like that. But yeah, episode 78 of Black Clover. Great episode, great stuff. If you have not watched it, I advise you to watch it. If you watch it, go watch it again. Really great stuff. That's all I have for you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Give this video a like. Share with your family and friends, and tell me down below what you thought of this episode and what you liked and didn't like about the episode. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.